auction?
No, not an auction. What are you talking about? Just buy it. It's not that type of art.
Well, why?
Sorry, I'm tweeting the show at the moment.
Oh,
Great.
I'll do that too.
Very
but
good.
More
I
importantly,
just did it.
I didn't do
I feel like a bunch of people just logged out anyway because they saw me instead of Mina. And,
I don't know. I mean, you gotta.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That was a poor choice.
Oh, I
Play
love
the song
it.
right there. Poor choice.
It's this kind of Friday, guys.
I feel like
We're gonna buy some art.
I feel like we are. Our leader is steering the ship straight for an iceberg right now. I don't know what has gotten into Alabaster, but I don't like it.
Oh, no. Bailed out the music. I guess we should disclose a couple things. First and foremost, that this is in fact Debatable, a live fake television show where we debate nothing. That is Domonique Foxworth. Yes. That is Israel Gutierrez right there. Yep. Hello. And a first in the show. A first, what happened?
I just wanted to point at you
Oh,
to
it's me.
show that
yeah.
I know that the camera is reversed also. That's all.
Yeah, it's a thing. I have spatial awareness issues. Alabaster isn't here today.
And we're off to a rocky start. Whoever's in for Alabaster out here pressing buttons that don't need to be pressed, that was not an elevator music time. You play elevator music when we are clearly not in elevator. Who plays elevator music before you run the show music? Outrageous. Then it makes it seem like the show music is elevator music. Strike one.
I was gonna be supportive of replacement Alabaster, but now I'm turning against him as well.
Don't be supportive, be honest. That's support.
It's possible we've scared him away.
Izzy, tell me you're on my side, please.
Don't beg. Don't beg.
TBD.
Don't beg.
TBD.
You know how you get people on your side? Do a good job. One strike. One strike.
I'm trying to get Domonique Foxworth to fly in and parachute into my flag football team, so I might be on his side right now.
So what's the deal with this?
Tutties,
Yeah,
as they call them.
I hate. When did that start, Tutties? I
don't
hate
know.
that.
I don't know.
Can I have standing to hate that?
You can.
I'm not a football player, but I hate it.
You can hate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's old man. That's what you're doing right now.
I've never liked tutties.
I mean, we're old. We got to lean into it. I'm sure these kids are like tutties. I don't like tutties.
But you're saying, Izzy, that Domonique would be invited to your flag football. What is it? Your championship?
Well, I was
this
asking because
weekend?
just before we started the show here, which we haven't started yet, obviously, I got a text from one of my cornerbacks who's out. Who's probably out. Got some back issues, probably out. And I just started wondering if, somebody in his, past his athletic prime just wants to kind of drop in and show off a little bit on a team called the South Florida Sharks.
Oh, I'll be there. First thing smoking. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Pablo. Pablo?
What's the first question, jerk?
I do.
Yeah, if I don't start the show soon.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not in your 40s. I'm sorry.
And you're
not in
talking
your 40s.
over Izzy? Strike two.
All right, here we go. For the first question we have, as we head into All-Star break, which team do you have more confidence in, the Sixers or Bucks?
I know who doesn't have confidence.
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian
Shaky
didn't introduce himself.
question.
Brian.
Shaky
Brian,
question asking.
That's how the card goes.
Oh,
down
and
on
the
table,
card's
too.
late?
The card was shaking a little bit, if you noticed. Oh, wow. Even whiter.
Somehow, even more Alabaster than Alabaster. I did not
Unbelievable.
expect that, Brian.
Find some base.
Blending into the
Find
cards.
some base. While we're answering this question, I want you to look around that office and see if you can find some base and put it in your voice.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's scary. All right.
So, all right. I will admit something about the Sixers right now that I feel like shocked to admit, which is that I have absolutely underestimated Joel Embiid. Right? This is the story of this question. What Brian is setting us up for is a discussion about how Joel Embiid dropped when shooting, incidentally, is the fact that this dude, Domonique, is the type of athlete who just started trying the James Harden step back a game ago.
Yep.
He took one, it was embarrassing. He took a second in this game, and it was perfect. And I just feel like that kind of a guy who's a Godzilla shooting step back threes should not exist. And I thought that I had him cased out, but no, he does stuff like this now.
Oh, man.
I'm intrigued, like when they're on the floor together, if they're going to take multiple like step back threes, also. But like side by side, I do think like Joel Embiid is that unstoppable player. That if you assume he's going to be around through the entirety and healthy through the entirety of your playoff run, like you can, even more so than obviously a couple years ago when like Kawhi knocked him out, like you can predict just building around him or going through him, he can absolutely run through the playoffs. Thing that always going to scare me about Joel Embiid is him just hurting a knee or tweaking a hamstring, and all of a sudden it's like the second round of the playoffs, and he's just not the same guy. And I know that's hard to predict, and you don't want to predict injury or anything like that, but until I see it for 4 rounds, like I don't know if it's going to happen. And so, like, I think him, the way he's playing right now, adding a confident James Harden with something to prove, like I think that's the scariest team in the Eastern Conference probably going forward if you just, take out any biases and take out any assumption of injury. But I can't take out that assumption of injury with him.
Dominique, can I ask you about the something to prove element of all of this? Because that is a lot of what Sixers fans are counting on. The James Harden, who right now is like going over to the bench and coaching up Tyrese Maxey, giving him all these pep talks in between, plays and stuff, that guy is going to be a better version of himself. How much do you believe in just the idea of like self-motivation to prove a point as a thing that actually can sustain itself for through June?
Well, I guess it can get you to work harder, maybe it can get you to focus more, but it can't get you to turn back the hands of time. So back to the question that Izzy was asking earlier, past my prime, I don't got nothing for you, like, to be honest. And the same thing is probably true of James Harden. It's like, if he's past his prime, and that's the question. None of us know because we don't know how hard he's trying. Or how hard he has been trying since his numbers have taken a decline. It's reasonable to suspect that he is past it, or I think we all could accept that he's past his prime. How far past is the real question. If he's 5% past, they'll be all right. If he's 25% past, they're in trouble. So I don't know how much the motivation is going to help. It can't do anything for if he's just aged. But I do want to go back to the Embiid stuff. One of the cards that was up there is he's had 9 games this year where he's had more than 40 points and 10 rebounds. That's ridiculous. But also, to the point that you're making about him adding the step back, and he's also late to pick up basketball. Like, the way that someone's brain like that works like that doesn't make sense to me. Like, we all have different types of intelligence, and to be able to look at something and make your body do it, or to practice something a couple times and like perfect it, is an incredible skill that I never had and wish I did. And that should be enough to make him an NBA champion. But again, just like you can't change time, you cannot change the physics of having a body that size and also having the brain that can make your body do things that someone half your size should be capable of doing.
Well, the brain thing is the hidden part of Embiid that I had underrated that I now see as very much a commonality with Steph Curry. Yeah. So Steph Curry is reported to have and I've talked to sports scientists, his trainer, about this, because he's so good at not just shooting, but just like repetitive neuromuscular sort of motions, right? He's an incredible golfer. That's part of his legend. He is a guy whose brain in control of his body is seemingly unparalleled. I thought that, of course, that's a thing that maybe like a 6'3" smaller dude has, the ability to take on more easily. But Joel Embiid is doing it at 7'2", like 300 plus. And Domonique is right, Izzy. Like, Joel Embiid didn't start playing like organized basketball till he was like 15 or something.
Yeah, well, it bugs me with Domonique though, because like when we try to talk about Giannis, he's like, I can't talk about Giannis. All I can say is Giannis is big. That guy's big. Well, this guy Joel Embiid, you're saying the same thing, man. You're saying the same thing. He's big, and yes, he can do all these things. So why is he so much more, exciting or much more worthy of your conversation than Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, his ability to shoot, and he seems somewhat more coordinated than Giannis. Also, and he's also bigger than Giannis. They're different types of big. Like, I see Giannis as a unicorn. Obviously, I'm not trying to diminish Giannis, but Joel Embiid, Giannis is built like a 3 who just kept growing. Joel Embiid is built like an old school 5, but can move like a point guard. And that's the part I think that's shocking to me, to see someone like that move the way he does. Giannis doesn't look like that's weird. You're like, that's amazing, but it doesn't look like unusual. And it kind of feels like that.
Well, speaking of...
Go ahead.
Sorry. So, yeah, speaking of Giannis, though, that whole transition from him when teams really sort of crowd him, how he can be effective anyway. Like we saw a lot of that yesterday with Joel Embiid on the other side. Like Joel, when teams, double, triple him, but they have a game plan against him, it could be that in the past, and I know the Miami Heat have done this successfully a few times, like taking him out of the game for like a half at a time. He is now at the point where he's making the right pass, making the right decision, calmly waiting for things to come back to him, and then just being his unstoppable self. And that, to me, I think is that next level of growth for him, and something that, again, if he stays healthy, like you go through the playoffs thinking, man, I don't know a team that can actually scheme against that guy. Yeah.
And that is, by the way, what Giannis was doing in the postseason when they won the title, right? Passing out of double teams, finding the open guy. Giannis, in terms of his IQ basketball-wise, yeah, I mean, that's absolutely not to be underrated. Like taking and hitting free throws fearlessly after the entire arena would chant 1, 2, or the other way, actually 10, whatever. It's just something that he has survived psychologically that has been wildly impressive. The argument for the Bucks, though, Izzy, like I do want to just point out, right? The Bucks, what was the card you just put down, Brian? The Bucks are second right now in terms of some category that is meaningful, I believe. But the Bucks are right there. That is my statistic. Oh, sorry. Giannis second in the NBA in points per game.
No.
Behind Embiid.
Just they're right there. That's all you need. That's a statistic. They're right there. Just that's all you need to know.
They are. We learned about the deal zone last week in terms of the Harden trade. Yeah. The Bucks are also in the point zone. The Sixers and the Bucks both 2.5 games back of first place in the East is what I was trying to say. But the point is, the Bucks, in terms of just like reigning champions who are established, who have literally none of the drama, Izzy. We're seeing all the
drama
multiple
right now
personalities of every other contender except the Bucks. We're just rolling along happily.
I think the Bucks, a big question mark to me is like Chris Middleton. If he's ever going to find his rhythm again, he's kind of been off. Probably like the last third of the season or so. And last night didn't have a great game. But and just so we can talk about this, so Charlie's not here, so he won't be upset. If you're the Miami Heat, do you feel like you might have peaked a little soon? Do you feel like these other teams in the East are about to like run past you because you didn't make any moves? Doesn't seem like Goran Dragic is coming in to save, your to help out your bench there. And I wonder if maybe the Miami Heat should have been a little bit more aggressive.
What was the move that was out there? I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that there was a move out there for the Heat to make. You would know better than me, but it doesn't seem like their name was like associated with any of these players, and none of the big name kind of difference making players were interested in the Miami Heat culture, as lovely as it is.
That's not how that works. But anyway,
what's not how it works?
That the people have to like want to be on your team during the trade deadline. You can trade for anybody.
Oh, not the people that matter. The people that matter absolutely have some influence. Did we not just watch James Harden push himself
about
across
the deal
3
zone.
teams in 8 months? Like, it matters if you're good enough.
Okay. Anyway, just wanted to voice my concern over the Miami Heat. Just in case these other teams run past them, let's just acknowledge how good they've been to this point.
That's all.
And,
you don't believe
Wait. What you wanted to do is imply that, hey, maybe people in Miami might leave the metaphorical building of title contention in like the fourth quarter.
It's possible, right? It's possible he might need like a Ray Allen 3 in mid-April to keep that number 1 seed.
Sometimes, sorry. Did you have something else important to say?
Yeah, I was just going to make fun of the Heat for also taking the NBA season like a day party and just peaking way too soon. Yeah, all of that adds up, Izzy.
That is Miami. I mean, I was going to make a football analogy, but I refused to do that. But I do think that when you are watching basketball games or watching any sporting event at the professional level, it feels rare. Even the best players, it feels rare where you can watch it and see, oh, he's just better than everybody else. And that's what you see with Giannis sometimes. You see with Embiid sometimes. I went to my kid's school. They have Kiki Rice is like the best basketball player in the country. She plays for my kid's school. So I went to watch the senior night last night and watched her play. And it was the same experience where you're like, oh, this ain't fair. And like, she's just comfortable, relaxed, doing everything, completely in control. And that's what I see in Joel Embiid, which I don't think that what he has surrounding him or the team overall, I don't think they're better than the Bucks. But if you got that guy and he's healthy and he can black out, I guess the pushback against that is the other team has that guy too. So we just have to look forward to the series, I think.
Well, it's also like a big question as to what does Joel Embiid, who looks right now like the Kiki Rice of the NBA, Domonique, if I have your analogy.
He
right.
wishes.
A guy who has
Jeez,
all of the
killing them.
sliders
Oh.
like boosted beyond what should be allowed in the zero-sum game
So,
of like, player editing.
Who cares about
Like,
that? Let's talk about high school women's basketball or girls
All right.
basketball. So it was senior night. So all the seniors started. She's a senior. There were some other seniors that started. They were beating the team. Like, they were pretty well in control. And then the seniors who normally don't start came out. And then the real starting lineup came in. Huh. My God. It was it was the most fun I had watching in sports in a long time. Just because you knew it was going to happen and just watching it happen in front of your eyes was so much fun. If only some of them could dunk, watching somebody get banged on and embarrassed in high school would have been more fun. But other than that, outstanding.
Wait, so
Where's she going to school?
UCLA.
Next year. Oh.
Yeah, the Terps could not tie her down. I don't blame her.
Wow.
I've been to Los Angeles. If UCLA would offer me a scholarship, maybe I don't have this helmet behind me.
I do like the idea, though, that senior night is very clearly kind of a make-a-wish thing. And it's like, all right, that's over. Time to win.
They're the
That's what it's
number
become.
one ranked team in the country. So their seniors are actually pretty good. But the rest of the girls are like probably all going to play Division I somewhere at some point.
So has this awakened? So Izzy, I'm listening to Domonique praise these high school girls basketball players, and I'm like wondering, Domonique, are you now trying to be LeVar Ball? Like, do you have a plan now for your kids? Is this all awakening fires inside of you after this experience?
Hell no. Like, I like to watch it. I don't want you know what it feels like to have a team that you're rooting for, like you're a fan of the team, and to watch a game, like how that feels, how stressful that is. I can't imagine what it's like if your kid's out there. Like going to my little kids' little league games or whatever, like they're like youth league soccer and basketball and stuff. It's like kind of stressful. I don't want to get to the point where we're in like high stakes and idiots are on a fake TV
you're
show,
clapping
like
in a ref's face.
and dummies on a fake TV show on the internet are like critiquing my kids' play. Like I'm good on all that. Go ahead, hit them books, kids.
I'd be more concerned that my kid would just be terrible, and then I have to support him or her anyway. It's just like, can I do something else?
I actually kind of like that because it's an opportunity to be an awesome dad, and it's an easy opportunity. Like being an awesome dad is like being around every day and doing all the little things. That's hard. Like showing up when your kid stinks and be like, "I still love you." People will celebrate the hell out of that. It's easy.
Yeah.
So,
but you got to be honest. Being a good dad includes being honest. And if your kid stinks, like you got to be honest.
They know. Just like Brian, we're trying to help him with this honesty. The kids know, and Brian knows his first part of the show, a little rocky. He's gonna settle in now with this next question. Give it to us, B.
Yep. Brian, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your confidence level at right now?
Don't forget the base.
I actually don't know what number I could give that would be a satisfactory answer. To be honest.
All you had to do was say a number, and you couldn't have been wrong.
Oh,
Somehow
boy.
you managed
said
to fail.
9, and you would have been great.
Somehow
I think
you
10 was
managed to
implied.
fail. All right, give us the next card, please.
So for the next one, Anthony
Hashtag
Davis is
3, by
expected
the
to
way.
be out. Thank you. He's expected to be out at least 4 weeks with a foot sprain. And so our question is, do you have any faith the Lakers can hold down the fort until AD
Our
returns?
question? Don't drag everybody else into it. It's your question. It's your question.
Speaking of holding down the fort, so Alabaster went to a wedding in Colombia. Let's throw the curtains wide open. He's out there in Colombia doing stuff on the T-shirt that I wore that said Pablo on it, that had other stuff on it last week or 2 weeks ago. If you remember that show, that's a real deep cut on Debatable.
Yes.
So he's doing that, leaving Brian to be terrorized and bullied by us. So I do feel for Brian in this circumstance. By the end of this topic, we should try to figure out a new nickname for Brian, though, if he can't be Alabaster.
You got to earn your nickname.
I was going to say, what is whiter than Alabaster?
Mr. Cellophane?
Oh, gosh.
Mr. Cellophane is
my
now
goodness.
Brian's nickname. So Mr. Cellophane asked us about the faith that we should have in the Lakers, about holding down the fort until AD, a Mr. Glass character, to be fair to AD, himself returns. And
Did we have faith that they would hold it down while he was there?
That's the point, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
what are they holding down?
Yeah, the fort blew away a while ago. You cannot hold down a fort that is airborne. I feel bad picking on Russell Westbrook, but I do think that back when they made the trade and all right-minded individuals were like, that's not going to help you. The only argument that we could construct around it helping was, that's all right. He'll carry them through the regular season. He'll be a minutes eater so that AD and LeBron are healthy. He has not been good enough to eat those minutes, so we end up with AD hurt. Like, it seems like this fort has long since flown away and nothing can hold it down.
Yeah, so the Lakers, Izzy, I guess, fair to point out. Thank you, Mr. Cellophane, for the card for the podcast audience. 10-11 without Anthony Davis, which is better than I thought they should be, right? Like, I thought Anthony Davis mattered more than just, because they're basically a sub-500. They are literally a sub-500 team right now. They're 10-11 without him.
They're definitely a sub-500 team. And if you sort of project as to what that was going to look like, what that's going to look like if the Lakers do indeed hold the fort down and start playing well without him, like, you're talking about a month from now, him sort of jumping on a moving train all of a sudden, because that's what it would take for the Lakers to be looking good. They would have to find some sort of formula to work with Westbrook and LeBron. And the reason I just don't believe that's going to happen or should happen is because Anthony Davis is the reason this is supposed to work. He is the key. He is the guy in his prime, planted in the middle, Mr. Versatility. And so for him to come in and just plug a spot, like, I just don't think that that's going to be what the Lakers can do. Like, they don't have the personnel for it. It's not like Russell Westbrook's going to, flip a switch all of a sudden. And then, it just doesn't seem like, look, he's been hurt all the time. It's just there's no consistency there. It just doesn't seem like it's his year. Even when he is out there, he isn't the force that you expect him to be. And so I just don't see it.
So, Mr. Cellophane, could you put on the card one more time that had Anthony Davis's injury update? Because what's scary about this in terms of, like, the prognosis is that at first it was 2 weeks, right? It was like, that looked terrible, I know, but it was just, a twist of the ankle 2 weeks. And now the update comes this week that he's going to miss 4 weeks with a mid-foot sprain. And to use the cliche of the phrase on pace, Anthony Davis is basically doubling the amount of time he's expected to be out, like, day by day. And it just feels
Well, he'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks, I believe. I don't even think that 4 weeks is a certainty. Like, this could be, the rest of the regular season type of injury. They probably have to look at this as, hey, the Lakers are going to go the rest of the season and try to make the playoffs without Anthony Davis and hope he comes back for the playoffs.
Let's go for the positivity spin. First of all, Mr. Cellophane, it's a good start. Too many syllables. He hasn't earned all of those syllables. Can we sand it down to, like, Selly instead? Can we just go? Yeah, just like, we all know what it means. And in this way, he's not embarrassed by it. We just call him Selly. And it feels like a term of endearment, not making fun of him. But as for the positive spin we're going to put on this.
I like it.
The last time we saw Russell Westbrook be an impactful player for a team was when he was playing the 5 or the dunker spot for the James Harden Rockets. Yep. AD, I mean, the Lakers' best offense and, frankly, their best defense consists of AD playing the 5. Now he's out of the way. He's not playing Russ's position anymore. Now Russ can play his spot. Maybe they're better with Russ as the rim protector.
Okay, so what's incredible about that argument, Izzy, beyond that there is some amount of logic in it, is that, of course, the person who has been playing the 5 this whole time has been LeBron James. So the added comedy of Russell Westbrook being like, guys, I got this. I should be the center now. LeBron, get the hell out of here. I know you've been playing beyond any expectation. You're so good right now. You're
Ignore my free throw shooting numbers. I'm going to be in the paint and get hacked all the time and shoot terribly from the free throw line. Look, I do think that there's something to the idea of, okay, look, at least we know we have to do this for, let's say, a month. Let's game plan whatever. We're in frantic desperation mode. And I've seen, like, I know it was just 1/2 and I was there, so it's like probably biased in my brain, but I've seen Russell Westbrook go for 30.5 this season. And so I do think that he can have enough games if it's just like, hey, I know AD's not going to be there. I know, and they're staggering minutes more with LeBron as much as possible. So I know when I'm in there, I'm going to be the focal point. And so he might get back into some sort of a rhythm, and maybe we're not, killing him by the time we get to April.
Yeah, so the Lakers defense giving up 113.7 points per 100 possessions in these lineups without a center where LeBron is basically the center. That ranks 28th in the league. You know, it does feel like we're setting up for one of those seasons where LeBron, I mean, this is every season now that I think about it, but where like LeBron is trying to prove a point, and the point that he's trying to prove has now changed. It was going to be, I'm going to win another title. And now it's going to be, this is not my fault.
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah.
That's the hard part is like, it kind of is. We all have accepted that he's kind of the shadow GM and Clutch is kind of the farm system. And this is part of the bed that he's made. So I don't know that he's going to get the sympathy that he got when he was with Dan Gilbert the first time around. And we were like, y'all gave him Shaq? Really? And now
I think he knows.
Yeah.
I think he knows it's going to be blamed on him. I think that's why he's going with like distraction tactics. Like, hey, let's have a parade of fellow champions. You know,
Yeah, remind everybody.
Let's. And he's probably going to try to get to Kareem overall faster, score as many regular season points as possible, and say, hey, look at me doing this. Never mind the wins and losses. So he's got enough to distract you there.
Yeah, I don't know. My feeling on all of this is that the question was, can the Lakers hold down the fort? We've established that the fort is now like in that scene in Twister that's just blowing away with a cow somewhere. And so do I have faith? No. Do I think that we're going to get to a point, though, where it's going to be like, I don't know, April, and the Lakers are plausibly going to be in the play-in round, and they're going to be the team that you don't want to play?
I
And we're going to have that conversation.
It's a fair conversation to have, though. Like,
I know.
If LeBron and AD are healthy, that ain't a team you want to play.
It really is.
Like, it
Oh,
really
no.
ain't a team you want to play.
Let's just do it now. Are the Lakers the team you don't
Yeah,
want to play in the
let's get
playoffs?
it
Go.
Absolutely. Selly, absolutely.
Yeah,
the fort has
Mark-
been it is the fort I don't want to have to try and raid.
Well, that's the secret ugly part about these Western Conference playoffs is, man, past what, 7? Like the Clippers are sub 500, the Lakers, Portland. Like it's not like you're going to be facing a murderer's row to get into the playoffs. You're just going to have to win a couple games against 500 teams. So yeah, I think that is probably going to be the conversation.
If LeBron James wins the title this year, you will see the smallest dot on the Instagram story size chart that you've ever seen. He's going to have 1 million updates. Your phone is going to break trying to load all of those dots. And he deserves it.
Like, I'm 1 second older, still a champion. 1 second older, still a champion. 1 second older.
Is there no limit? Can you get so many dots that it then becomes a line again? Like, is it possible?
We're going to find out. I think we're going to find
We
out.
will.
We're going to
I'm
test
cheering for
it
that
out.
now. Let's go Lakers.
I don't think we're going to find out, sadly. As fun as that'll be, I actually don't think we're going to find out. I don't know what would have to happen to the rest of the West and the winner of the East for the Lakers to come away with the title. I guess AD has to go back to that bubble shooting. Yeah, I guess we'd have to. I don't even want to put it into the air. I'm not even going to say what would have to happen because we're getting close to the end, and I don't want us to start over.
Yeah. We don't want to just wish injuries upon everyone else.
Oh, no, I was talking about a
NBA.
pandemic, actually. But,
Oh.
because that's what happened. They went to the
yeah.
bubble, and AD blacked out in the bubble, and some people couldn't deal with those different circumstances, and they won that unusual title.
Yeah, Sally, where are you on the whole bubble fraud, title fraud conversation?
I think if I give my
Sally,
opinion,
where are you
Izzy
is a
might
good
be mad
question.
at me.
What?
Oh, no, you can't get. I won't be mad at you.
This
It's
is-
okay. You can talk trash about Tyler Hero all you want.
I
They had
think
one game.
everything that was in the bubble counted.
No, there you go.
That's not
Spoken
a spicy
like
take at all.
spoken like a true fill-in alabaster.
Like, okay,
who wants to make sure
do
that
me a
this
favor.
show also
Do me a favor. Next time you have something to say, just roll your shoulders back and hold it that way, and then say it like that. Because I can't see you, but the way your voice sounds, it feels like you're like this, and I don't like it. It's making me feel bad about being mean to you. Strike 4, by the way.
Also, his first chance at a take is basically the records count.
All right, roll them back.
Standings are what they are.
Roll 'em back.
Whoa, easy now.
Roll them
All
back.
right.
Let's go. Give it to
Ready?
us, Sally.
The
Go.
Miami Heat were frauds,
Yeah.
and so is Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And LeBron, too.
Wow.
Are you ready
Maybe
to play a
have
game?
gone too far. Maybe have
Yeah,
gone too far,
yeah.
but
I
hey.
got carried
All right,
away.
let's go. We take one strike off. You're down to strike 3 now. Give us a game with some confidence.
All right. The game that we're going to play is What Are the Chances?
I think there's a card for that, but maybe not.
There is a card. I have it in my hand right now. My silicon hand.
You're not supposed to have it in your hand, man. It's supposed to be down.
Strike 4.
Strike 4. Yeah.
We give you a topic. You give us the chances. And our first topic is, what are the chances the Pelicans should be worried that Zion's career won't live up to expectations?
So I realized that I kind of feel like I'm in a minivan right now, where we're all just like yelling at Mr. Cellophane, and I just want to, Mr. Cellophane, just understand that I know you're trying to get us somewhere, but this is our process. So,
You don't have to
what are
explain
the
it to him.
chances? I had just the shoulder thing. It was all I visualized it, and I felt it. I felt it in my shoulders. So thank you, Selly. So the New Orleans Times Picayune is pointing out that Zion Williamson might now need a second foot surgery, but nothing has been decided yet. And we can just cross out that phrase, but nothing has been decided yet, because my Lord, that is not the phrase that matters. Might need a second foot surgery is all the terror you need to sell your stock in Zion Williamson. And I feel bad about this as well, because I want Zion Williamson to be, what he was an heir to LeBron James. And instead, Izzy, how would you describe what the experience has been like?
Greg Oden-like a ton of potential and just a body that really can't hold on to it. And I mean, I remember Greg, he was just an absolute beast, was going to be Shaq-like with a little bit more, maybe footwork, speed, whatever. And this was, Zion was like Shaq and Derrick Rose, like mixed together. Like, it was unbelievable athleticism and unbelievable, power in this large body. And hopefully his feet can handle all that. And that's the only, I don't know if, having a screw in there, it's right. It's his feet. It's the most important thing on there. He's going to have to hold up. And this is just a terrible start.
Is Ja Morant, Kevin Durant in that situation? Wasn't Durant and Odom in the same draft? It rhymes, so it must be right. Small market team. Overachieving. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think the question is, like, should they worry? What are the chances they should worry? Like, it's 100%. Like, the expectations have been, he live up to the expectations. He's already fallen short of the expectations. Like, what year is this for him? And we've seen one good run of play. And other than that, we haven't even really seen him play. And it seems like every couple of months, there's a new concern about his injury without him even stepping on the floor. So, yeah, he's not living up.
Can we all take a look real quick? I'm going to say 100% because I want to see how Brian does his zeros clockwise. I feel like that's odd. Is that odd?
Oh, that is odd.
Oh,
boo.
What the? That's a fifth strike.
Who does reverse zeros?
5 strikes. If you're not careful, you might be out. Okay, 5 strikes already.
So Zion Williamson, I've been doing the math over here on just like his career. So he's played in 85 games, right? His rookie year, or the 2019-20 season, to be specific. 24 games. 2021, 61 games. That was the season where we saw point Zion, and we saw sort of some of the promise sort of come into bloom. Like, this guy could be a point guard. He could be, yes, the Shaq Derrick Rose combination in a very strange way. He was incredibly efficient. He was excellent, a distributor. He had vision, all of those things. And now the question, I mean, Izzy, there's a real question here, right? From a pure, like, hey, New Orleans Pelicans, do you actually want him? Do you want to pay him? Do you want to re-sign him to a max contract? Because that is an absolute open question right now.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, and he's so unique that everything you do has to be changed. It's like you said, the point center situation. Like, how many teams have that option, and how many teams have that as their best option? So it's really intriguing. Like, everything they're doing now, trying to get into a play-in, probably it would look entirely different with him. And so, but you can't. If you're the New Orleans Pelicans, you can't say, okay, we'll just try to work our way back to a number 1 pick and hope the next one is Zion's level of great. No, like, you've got to do everything possible to see if this thing works out, because if it does, he is that guy. He is the guy that's going to shoot 60% over the course of his season and make it look pretty easy and have bodies bouncing off of him.
You don't have a choice, Pablo. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I understand that it looks like a bad idea, but go ahead and let him go somewhere else. and flourish into who he's supposed to be. Like, you don't get your hands on this many, or get your hands on this many players like this don't exist. Like, 3 or 4, maybe 5 of them in the NBA at any given time, and he has the potential to be one of them. So you have to do whatever.
This is Pablo's
you can.
way of getting him to the Knicks.
Yeah.
So this is what I was going to say.
That's
like,
where
if you're the
he's
Pelicans,
destined for the Knicks.
But this is the thing, right? And Zion Williamson in this point center season, right, he had been averaging 27, 7, and 4, right? Like he was shooting from the field 61%. It's absurd. And if I'm the Pelicans, the only way I feel confident not signing him to that max deal is if I ensure that he goes to the Knicks, because he is destined to go full Michael Sweetney on the Knicks. Just like destined to bust Eddie Curry, just the legacy of just giant dudes who never
I was
lived
so
up to their
convinced on
potential.
Sweetney for a minute there. I was really convinced on
You know
him
what
during
Michael
that
Sweetney's
Chicago
doing
pre-draft
now?
camp.
Great name.
Do you know what former Georgetown center Michael Sweetney, who is in fact exactly, yes, speaking of the last name that embodies what your profession is, very much just a dude who has been eating a lot of sweets. I am sorry, Michael Sweetney.
Yeah, that's unnecessary. Completely
That
unnecessary.
is a great name for a bakery. You know? I can see where that sort of took that.
You don't know. The way you said, do you know what he's doing? I thought you were going to tell us what he's doing. You were really asking.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I actually do also.
Oh,
He's an assistant coach on the Yeshiva men's basketball team in Manhattan. So there is that.
So not. Okay.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity there with Sweetney's. I might take it.
Sally, I think I've been way too mean to Michael Sweetney, and I want to get out of this topic.
I'm sorry, Michael.
All right. Next topic we have is, what are the chances the Packers hiring Aaron Rodgers' favorite QB coach will convince him to stay?
Well, the question that I see says...
You're back to library, by the way. I couldn't even hear that. Really.
Yeah, roll them back. I want to say 1,000%.
6 strikes.
Because I want 3 zeros this time. 1,000%.
So do we? Can someone teach me about this story? Because I understand that Aaron Rodgers really likes his quarterbacks coach. Does it
backwards?
How much does this matter? Like, is this an actual thing that Aaron Rodgers wants because he thinks it's important to his football team, or is this one of those perks that you get because you're a superstar? Because Tom Clements, yes, coming out of retirement to return to the Green Bay Packers quarterbacks coach is a thing that apparently
you think it's like
Aaron Rodgers likes.
having Giannis on the Buck, having Giannis's brother on the Bucks. You think it's that type?
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
I mean, I think Aaron needs as many people around him who he, trusts, who he believes, believe him, who think that. This is, by the way, very jarring. Whenever we've done television all the time, right? But when you're doing it live and it's a little screen and all of a sudden you're the big space on the little screen while you're talking, throws me off every single time. Sorry about that. But Aaron Rodgers needs people around him that, I thought it was perfect time if he was going to do it again right there, that he trusts and maybe think like him, or maybe, and so this tells me, 10,000% that he's probably creating his bubble there in Green Bay. And this is, tells me he's coming back because, he's probably going to still talk about Devontae Adams and everything else. But
he could be ambidextrous. I like that.
Wow. I'm
but
going
yeah,
to go.
10,000%.
I'm going to go 100 million %. I just want to see Mr. Cellophane.
Let's see if he knows where the commas go without.
I have no idea.
100 million.
Okay.
Oh. Got to nudge that card over, Mr. Cellophane.
All clockwise. Interesting.
There it is.
Nice. Beautiful. Go ahead, Pablo.
No, I mean, look.
I got conspiracy for you.
Oh, okay. No, let's go to conspiracy.
This is the Packers trying to save face for the fans.
Oh,
Aaron's leaving, and they want to make it clear to the fans that they aren't pushing him out. Aaron is gone, and they're like, we're trying to bring in his coach. We are trying to do everything we can. We want to bend over backwards to make this to make this work. And he's like, no, I don't love you guys. I want to leave. You're laughing, but I think they decided last year, it was pretty clear that Aaron wanted out. I think when they drafted Jordan Love, they were planning on this timetable to move on from Aaron Rodgers because his play had started to decline. And then all of a sudden, after drafting Jordan Love, maybe these things are not connected. All of a sudden, he goes back-to-back MVP seasons and everyone's timetable is thrown off. And now Aaron's like, all right, I'm going to leave now anyway. And they wanted to look to their fans like they're not the fools who ran the back-to-back MVP out of town.
Yeah.
Can you be rusty as a quarterback's coach? Has he forgotten things in the last 6 years, maybe?
Rusty sounds like a good quarterback coach name.
That's great, yeah.
Just like chewing on some chaw, like spitting into a spittoon.
Yep.
That kind of a quarterback's coach.
Oh, yeah, that quarterback coach is never calling any QB runs. No design runs. That quarterback coach only wants pocket passers. Chewing on chaw and spitting
All
in
flies.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of these little perks though, because the idea is like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, have everything you want. It's like going to it's like if you go to a hotel and you get a really nice room and you pay a lot of money for it, and it's like, why is this fruit plate a normal fruit plate? Give me some rare exotic fruit. I want the fruit like a star. Give me the star fruit.
Have you ever been, I'm sure you have, and they like they give you a fruit plate and then they like give you an envelope with like a letter in it. And like, what's the point? I don't feel special. It's like a letter that says,
the point.
we appreciate your patronage or something. Like, get out of here with your letter.
It's funny that we go there. Because lately, I don't know if this is something that, like, my bosses, and if you're listening, hey, please continue. They're just trying to make me feel special. But the last 3 hotels that have left me some pleasant gifts, like, out of nowhere. One, a complete bottle of wine and a basket of snacks for literally a 24-hour stay one time. I will say, though, the fruit is always off-putting. Like, it always looks like it has a layer of dust or something, like it just stayed overnight without any covering on it.
It's not a fresh fruit
So
plate.
I don't really...
Yeah, I'm with you. I want something that comes in a package that's sealed. I don't want your fruit plate with your cellophane pulled across it.
That's right.
No, thank you.
And and relatedly, speaking of those letters, I can tell when you guys use the cursive font. You think you're slick.
Right.
Yeah, I know what
I was
handwriting looks
forced.
like.
Was forced to drink that entire bottle that night because I was checking out the next morning. So while it was very happy to have it, it was
good
made
job.
for a rushed situation.
I believe this has been a deeply relatable conversation.
I was about to say, this
Does
is
everybody
us
not get pleasant
one-percenters.
gifts in their hotel room?
No, hey guys, I think
You guys ever get special gifts when you check into hotels?
No.
Of course we do.
I think the motel doesn't leave you special gifts, guys. That's not a thing that happens. You got anything else for us?
Now we know. Now I'm a man of the people now. I understand them better.
I have one more game for you guys.
Roll them back, Sally.
That
Come
game
on.
is
Last
Who
chance.
Done It?
I'm gonna need your timing to get. Ooh, never mind. Strike 2. You are moving back into my good graces, Sally. You are still in the game, dog.
Back in the deal zone.
I'm sweating over here.
It does that to people. It does that. The picture does that.
Here's the quote that we have. I think Giannis would have struggled in our era because of how closed up the paint was. If you can't shoot, it's going to be hard. It would have been tough for him to be who he is today back then. And our choices are Bob Cousy, Reggie Miller, Tracy McGrady, or Josh Smith.
Are you sure this wasn't ball sack sports? 'Cause I got caught on that one. I had said actually, Charlie, the quote from Josh Smith about LeBron wouldn't be able to play in my era. I was like, we should use this in Who Done It? And then it's like 3 days later, I realized, what is this website?
Yeah, I mean, by the way, on the whole ball sack sports thing, I like how people used to try. It was like, I'm Adaron Schefter, right? I'm going to put like a fake verification icon using some emoji. Now they're just calling
Now
themselves
it's
ball
like
sack
at
sports,
testicles.
and no one cares. Everyone's just quoting ball sack sports.
I mean,
We only have 60 seconds here. My answer is Tracy McGrady.
yeah, I'll go with you. I mean, if Goofy McSilly Pants is not an option, we'll go with Tracy McGrady because, I mean, not like the shooting was, everyone was shooting all that well back in the day. Like, I feel like the shooting is better in the league now than it ever been. I understand the lane is open because of the rule changes, but I'm pretty sure Giannis would have found a way to be effective.
Incidentally, Goofy McSilly Pants is the person who was charged with defending choice A, Bob Cousy.
Well done. Right at the bell. What's the answer?
I think he would have struggled because of
T-Mac.
how closed up the paint was. If you can't shoot, it's going to be hard. And he's developed a little jump shot now, but I think it would have been tough for him to be who he is today back then.
Oh, my goodness. If the gray in his beard wasn't already telling, we just watched Tracy McGrady get old.
Yeah.
Like, this was him being, like, he's been young for so long. He was like a baby when he came into the league, and now he's old because he just did the thing with Giannis. I'm like, they're like specialists are kind of being worked out of the league these days because you got to be so good. Like back then, he didn't even have to have all this, and he probably still could have been, a great player. Struggled. Tracy struggled. Like that's a strong word. Giannis would have struggled in your era. Come on.
Oh, God.
I love T-Mac. He's our former colleague at ESPN. I like a guy whose highlight reel is as good as anyone else's that has ever lived, right? Like Tracy McGrady, I don't want to besmirch his image.
Don't besmirch it.
I mean, but the only way I can even possibly defend him is to point out that I fully plan on doing the same thing to young people when I get older. Like that's the only defense. Like logically, this is incoherent.
What's the etymology of besmirch? Because like when you have a prefix like B. So what is smirch a word? What does it mean to smirch? And like
Smirch is a word.
Smirching is a word, and then how do you besmirch something?
I think honestly,
Can you
prefix?
Can you resmirch? Can you desmirch? I think that Tracy needs to come back, retract this quote, so he can desmirch himself. Desmirch your name, T-Mac. Desmirch it.
I'm just gonna start putting the prefix "b" in front of verbs now, though. It does make it sound very like knightly and regal. Yeah.
What? I don't even know what the prefix of "b" means.
Oh,
like
I appear to have bevomited myself. Excuse me.
Yes, with a slight accent is always the best way to go to.
Oh my goodness. We got any more?
So Giannis would have been amazing.
I mean, he would have learned some post
Philly.
moves. He would have figured it out. Like, he's more athletic than centers in the league are now. He would have definitely been pretty athletic back then. He would have figured it out. Just like T-Mac would figure it out in the modern game. Like, that's the thing is like trying to move people around is like the good guy's going to be the good guys.
Josh Smith played in Tracy McGrady's era, right? And Josh Smith was like baby Giannis. Like he couldn't even do what Giannis can do, wasn't as long as Giannis can, and yet he still had an all-star, level career. Like, come on now. I don't think you really think these things. You're just happy to be on a podcast with Shaq.
It's true. I think it's reasonable to talk about it in football because the way the game has changed in a way that you cannot, and because the positions are so specialized that some people I think could not play, like big run-stopping defensive tackles. Like, you have a hard time playing in the modern NFL. But in basketball,
Well, I feel
you
like
can ball, you can ball.
Yes, the most transferable skill as a time-traveling hypothetical basketball player should be the ability to run. Like, like watch Bill Russell YouTube videos, which have been like color corrected and uploaded. Like, if anyone reminds me of Bill Russell, it is Giannis. Actually, just a guy who is like relatively rail thin, relatively speaking, but can jump,
glide. They don't
super
even
wingspan, run. Can glide like Bill Russell. And if you want to besmirch the good name of Goofy McSilly Pants by knocking on Bill Russell, I be object to your point. Is that how, can I say
yes.
That? No.
Okay, close
Let's go back to Bavamed. I Bavamed on your point.
Yes. I am begagged upon.
Do you get grossed out by people gagging? Are you one of those people who like gets gaggy when other people gag? Nah, me either. I don't mind gross stuff. Got another question for us?
We have one more quote.
That would be an interesting
quote,
Google search. I don't mind gross stuff. See what comes up.
It's a subreddit.
I wonder if there are people watching this right now who do get grossed out by other people vomiting. There's like a TikTok account where this guy like chases his wife around and he makes vomit noises and then she inevitably vomits. It's pretty mean, but it's funny every time.
No.
That sounds like, I mean,
What a
anyone who,
marriage.
that is basically the plot of the whole the phobia sort of theme shows on Maury.
They got
those?
They got like 50. Yeah. I do remember those. They have like 50 videos, and it's the same thing in different clothes in different places of her saying, "No, not right now, not right now," and him going, and then her going. I'll send you a link later. It's the weirdest, grossest thing, but somehow it's entertaining.
Oh, I mean, if anything can remind me of the pickle phobia episode of Maury, where someone gets chased around backstage by a pickle until they crawl into a ball and just give up, I am down for that account. Sorry.
Sally, listen up, Sally. Sally,
Yeah,
this is a very intense quote here, okay? You have a very opportunity here to speak some life into this, okay?
Roll it back.
Let's see what you can do.
I have opportunity to embarrass myself with this quote.
Oh,
Y'all reawoke a fire in me that will only make me stronger, and I'm beyond excited to unleash that demon again to exponential levels on any op that lines up across from me next season. And your choices are Tyreek Hill, Eli Apple, Jalen Ramsey, and Kirk Cousins.
All right.
Not terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I
One
got to
strike. Back to one strike.
Yeah, you're doing good. I got to go. It's got to be one of the corners, right?
Yes.
Jalen won the Super Bowl, though, but he gave up a couple big plays. So it might be him. I'm thinking it's probably Eli Apple because everybody been on his ass. And it's sad.
His people have absolutely BS'd themselves. Like,
You need to stop.
did that work?
I don't think so.
He used the word exponential and he used the word demon, which is sort of like the level of drama that you need to get to after you get roasted by the world after losing a Super Bowl. I also vote for Eli Apple, Izzy, with the caveat that I hope it's Kirk Cousins.
I mean, that's the one would be a dream scenario there. It is an interesting choice of words here, like tone here, y'all, and then, exponential and reawoken and op. Like, is that what we're doing now? Any op? Like, we're doing, I've never seen that for short for opponent. Like by somebody. Opponent. Like, I've seen it in, like, statistics and stuff like that, but.
No, the last time I saw op was when Kyler Murray called Mina an op after the Cardinals Twitter account wished both her and Steve Keim a happy birthday. In retrospect, I think it's fair to say that Kyler Murray probably hates both Mina and now Steve Keim, given recent events.
The Mina birthday was on the same day as Steve Keim?
Apparently.
Oh, bad company. Oh, bad company.
Not great. Mr. Cellophane, Eli Apple, our final answer.
Yay. I love it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, look, we have a nice fancy infographic for this because he did not say this aloud, unfortunately.
Y'all reawoke a fire in me. Only make me stronger. I'm beyond excited to unleash that demon again to exponential levels on any op that lines up across from me next season.
He has previously unleashed said demon on exponential levels. He's going to do it again.
Yeah.
Yes, I shall asymptotically torture you with the fires of hell. My fractions are demonic, and they shall consume your poor
Yeah, well done.
Should have gone with be awoke, though.
I like when people make up words. I'm not someone who's like, or when they misuse words, but I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not someone who gives people a hard time for that. But because most of the time, like Marcus Spears does it a lot when I'm on Get Up with him. And most of the time, it's a brand new word, but that word needed to exist. And I'm like, you're damn right. Now you have added to the dictionary. Thank you. However, reawoke, like either you sleep or you woke or awake. You know what I mean? Like, like the first time that you're a baby, the first time that you fall asleep, and then you wake up.
You never say
is every time after that a reawakening?
No, that's what he's saying. He is being born anew again.
You can't. You can't. You're born once. You wake up, you go to sleep.
Domonique,
and then when you sleep, you wake up.
Domonique, you don't get it. Stay real. I'm
sorry. And Eli Apple, this show is one of the few places where it's a safe place for Eli Apple. We love Eli here. We're Eli fans.
I was always wondering about that, honestly, like why Eli Apple became such a subject, right? And why he was such somebody to pick on. And my theory on that is he's just got a very recognizable, memorable, fun name. Like, I know, his mom was early on, probably put him in the, but like, cornerbacks are all over the place. You can pick on any one, but Eli Apple, like, you're always going to remember that dude plays cornerback in the NFL the first time you hear his name.
And he's been in a couple places where the fans didn't like him. He didn't play well enough to their standard, and then he's gone back at those places, and then he took shots at most of the Chiefs players after they beat them. And I don't know what he did to the Ravens, and maybe it's just being in the same division, but it seemed like some Ravens players came for his neck too, which maybe
Lamar did.
Yeah, Lamar did.
Okay. So he's done this to himself. It's not just because he's got a nice name.
Yeah.
Here's the full list of guys who have besmirched Eli Apple online after the Super Bowl. Yeah. Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, and Lamar Jackson, which is pretty good.
So it's the who's who of the AFC. Like,
it is. It's quite the roast.
Ravens and Chiefs.
Yeah. They're like, why are you handing me this dust-covered apple? Is what they're saying.
No, you better resmirch that. Don't besmirch Eli. We're Eli fans here. I told you that before.
I know. I feel
trying to
bad.
smirch
As the
him.
worldwide leader in Eli Apple
yeah.
enthusiasm, we are unfortunately
Would a real
contradicting
woken Eli
ourselves.
would a real woken Eli Apple been able to stop that touchdown by Cooper Kupp at the end there?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't
right?
think there are very many quarters that could have stopped that touchdown, honestly. I think in that situation, the best thing you can do is pick a side. Yes, he was trying to cover everything, which is a mistake that many corners make. Like, sometimes you just got to guess. You can't cover everything. And
You will look so bad when you guess wrong, though. Like, they'd rather just say, oh, I got beat by great offense than guess bad and just be all the way over there.
I feel you. But you know how good you look when you guess right?
No, you're right.
I mean, I'm saying it like I understand
Just
it,
ask the
like I'm
Patriots.
some sort of Hall of Fame cornerback. Like I like Eli, thought I could cover it all many times, which is why I'm making up. Ooh, sexy! Look at them guns.
Some say Alex Rodriguez made an entire career out of guessing.
And cheating,
There you go.
right? Like that was part of it, right? I don't know.
It was a real loosey-goosey time, as he said. It was cousin Yuri's fault, I believe.
You got anything else for us, or did we expend all of your thoughts? You want to read some tweets or something, Cellophane? What you got? How you want to end the show?
Yeah, Mr. Sally, how are you feeling? It's 1:25 p.m. Eastern. We've made it to the end of your first fill-in show after a delinquent Alabaster went to Colombia to do clearly legal things. How you feeling?
We don't have any tweets, but on a scale of 1 to 10 on how I'm feeling, I'm a 10.
Yeah.
Yes!
I love it.
Wow.
Good. Did you believe it?
Wow. I mean,
No.
Mr. Cellophane, I just want to say...
He's about to be a 9, though.
Slowly
This
leaking
countdown is
confidence.
actually...
Yeah, this is not a countdown to the end of the show.
Live
It's just sitting.
Confidence meter.
This is a
Dropping.
countdown. Oh, no.
Yes.
This is a countdown to Mr. Cellophane pooping himself.
The final count.
That's
it-
how you put in music.
Are you allowed to
Undebatable.
sing on the internet? I know we can't sing on TV because we might get sued.
His
What's the
hands
rules?
look like my VR hands at the Oculus that I just got.
Oh.
They're just like
Oh,
floating
you like
white
that?
things.
You like that? There it is.
Well done. You did a great job today, Sally. I'm proud of you.
Mr.
Goodbye.
Cellophane, thank you for parking this minivan in its appropriate location. We made it.
Yep. Enjoy your weekend.
Check out Around the Horn at 5 p.m.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Izzy will be there.
Nina won't be there either.